Oh, what a night in Sylvan Lake, Alberta, Canada. There's a live shot on a Sunday evening. It's game one of round two. Hi, everyone. My name is Joe Whitbread. Welcome to Beyond the Bases, our post-game show after a second-round victory. Your Sylvan Lake Gulls come away with a 5-3 walk-off win because of this guy. It's Marcus Abelhosen. Beyond the Bases brought to you by the Market in Bentley. You said you don't have words. How are you feeling right now? What words do you have?
This is amazing. I've never felt like this ever in my baseball career, and there's not much of a better feeling than there is right now.
It's an incredible, emotional ballpark. You can tell and you can see it. Let's have a look at the highlights from this ball game. Right from the start, there was a little bit of nerves, some angst in this ballpark. Kyle Frelick gets the hill for game one, and all of a sudden, you guys have your backs against the wall.
I think Frelick did, as you can see right here, I mean, he did a really good job getting out of that big jam in the first and then just letting our offense go to work like we have all year and put up runs, and ended up being enough for us in game one tonight.
Elijah Hamill with the first on the board for the Gulls. It was 1-0, a solo shot, and then Matty Fung does this.
Absolutely, Matty. Great leadoff guy, great top of the lineup guy for us, getting on, having big hits for us all year, and excited for him to be on my team.
Not a lot of base runners for the Gulls, but it didn't matter. Cooper Sazelski throwing one over the fence. It hits the scoreboard, comes back, another home run.
Absolutely. Cooper, again, been producing for us all year, and can't wait to get up to school with him this year.
And then, of course, you had one as well. Talk a little bit about how the Dogs pushed back. It was 3-0 all the way to the top seven, and then the Dogs started putting runners aboard, had some difficulty, walked one in, and then here they come, battling back again.
Absolutely. I mean, as you can see and how we've played them all year, they're an outstanding team, and everything that they do is they play the game the right way, and they didn't get many chances early, but they took their chances when they got late and just trying to get the next guy up. And
this was a difficult moment. Obviously, Ty Boudreau comes in, but then this is the shot heard round Central Alberta. How did that feel?
Oh, my God. Amazing.
First chance for you to look at this. You're soaking wet right now because that is what you're covered in. The Gulls walk it off. What an emotion.
Oh, what an amazing day, and let's go get them tomorrow.
Yeah, so it is a big game. Okotoks Dogs, only 3 games each round. This is round 2. This is slaying the dragon, so to speak. Something the Gulls have never done is advance to the final. Let's have a look, though, at your home run again. I know this is your first chance seeing it. I want to actually look at yours because this was an incredibly emotional moment. What did you see?
I mean, I was just trying to get something over the middle plate that I can handle, and I know after my first 2 pitches that he blew it by me with that fastball, and I was just kind of saying in my head, don't get beat again, and be ready to slap something the other way if you see something soft, and saw that thing hard in and let her fly.
And you were telling us off camera that you were yelling. I couldn't hear you in the press box, but you said you were yelling the entire way around.
I think that was the loudest I've ever yelled around the base paths. I mean, that was the most emotion. If you watch that whole lap, that was the most emotion I've ever showed on the baseball field. But man, great feeling, and let's go get this one, Sylvan.
Awesome. It's so great to have you on the show. Can't wait. Another home game, regardless, whether it's game 3 of this series or game 1 of the final. The kids are having fun. Marcus, congratulations.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
There you go. Next home game for your Sylvan Lake Gulls right now is coming up on, well, we don't know for sure. This one is game 3. This is on a Tuesday night, August 13th, if necessary. The Gulls are off to Okotoks to play the Dogs. And if this game doesn't happen, for whatever reason, if the Gulls do win game 2 on a Monday night, then game 1 will happen on a Thursday. And that brings up the WCBL because there are some impressive games, impressive teams, amazing fan bases, and I'd like to introduce you to one of the folks behind the Western Canadian Baseball League. We're so grateful to have Mark Stiles in attendance for this game as he's been traveling the league and this amazing playoff. Mark Stiles, welcome to Beyond the Bases.
Oh, well, geez, Joe, thanks for having me, and what a night to be here. It's round 2, game 1, and the Gulls win it with Marcus's big home run. I liked what your in-house announcer, Waldo, I understand everyone calls him, said it might have been the biggest home run in franchise history, or biggest play for that matter. So in your place, the joint was jumping. It was a great night for your team, the Gulls, and a great night for the league to have games like this.
Yeah, I really appreciate you being here. Thank you. Well, he's not wrong. Sometimes he's wrong, but you're so right. I mean, our first walk-off victory all season long, and certainly the biggest time is in the playoffs, in the postseason. You've had a chance to tour this league. The Berries had a very successful afternoon game before this one. Only 4 teams left. Explain, if you don't mind, to fans who are casual or new, who's left and what series we're in right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you referenced Game 2 back in Siemens Stadium tomorrow night in this series. There's 4 teams left. We start with 12. We go to 8. We go to 4. That's where we're at right now. And on the other side, our East Division, I guess, that's why you play the games, and that's why it's such a competitive league. But, some would say, oh, my gosh, the number 1 seed's gone, Regina. The number 2 seed's gone, Medicine Hat. But guess what? 3 and 4, Moose Jaw and Saskatoon, are there on the east side. And this afternoon, the Berries jumped on Moose Jaw, so they're up 1-0 like your team. The Gulls are up 1-0 on the west. But you have to win 2. It's not a race to 1. You got to win 2. And eventually we'll find out who's going to play for the WCBL championship here in another 4 or 5 days.
And Carter Beck has an amazing game in Saskatoon. That series shifts to Moose Jaw now. Carter Beck hits for the cycle in Game 1. This league is raising eyebrows, and we knew it would, and we're really excited about it. But you've had some really successful numbers to prove that in summer baseball in Alberta and Saskatchewan.
Yeah, it's been a great summer for the Western Canadian Baseball League. Joe, thanks for asking. As you know, record attendance in the regular season before we played a playoff game. You see crowds like that here tonight at Gulls Stadium, and we had over 350,000 fans.
Wow.
In the regular season. We're going to push 400,000, may get there. Saskatoon, I talked to the governor of the Berries this afternoon, Steve Hildebrand. He said they were running at about 1,700 or 1,800, which is 95% capacity there. They've had lots of sellouts this year, and so we'll push 400,000 fans. Our friends that do the social media for us, whether it's Twitter or X, Facebook or Instagram, have done a magnificent job, basically tripling our audience in 2024, and our websites had great numbers as well. So we love raising our flag, we love telling the story, and we love nights like this where the ballpark is packed. It's a close game, it's the postseason, and it's a great time to be a fan of this great league.
And I don't want to let you. I'll let you go. I know you got a long drive back, and you got other series to watch. I don't even know if you're taking that trip to Moose Jaw, and we won't ask you about that. You've got so much on your plate, so many great things this summer. But I did want to ask you. I've seen rumblings that there's interest elsewhere in northern Alberta, other parts of Saskatchewan, even border cities. Whatever you're willing to tell us, but certainly people are watching teams like the Gulls, Okotoks, and the Saskatoon Berries, and they want a piece of the action. Is there any expansion or other teams in the process in the future or the near future?
Yeah, well, Joe, number one, hopefully they're watching all of our teams, all 12s. And what works for this league, and it's so important, is whether you're a smaller market like Brooks or Weyburn, it's still got to work. Everybody's got to play the same rules. The Weyburn Beavers need to feel they can beat the Okotoks Dogs or the Sylvan Lake Gulls on any given Tuesday night. So we have 12 strong league members. And we will look to expand. We will not expand in 2025. I'll make that clear. But 2026 is a possibility. You're right. You're paying attention. Thank you for paying attention. We do have interest in a couple other communities. But it has to be the right deal. It's going to be the right ownership or the right community board. They have to have the right ballpark or a ballpark that can be renovated. And we have to feel that there's really strong community support. So you really need a whole bunch of pieces or the recipe to make it happen. And there are a couple communities in particular that have a strong interest potentially in 2026, but a much higher pay grade than a guy like me. That goes to my 12 bosses, the league governors, and they will decide if this league is to expand. But the Saskatoon Berries story has been nothing but a success story. They're a win away from going to the league final in their inaugural year.
And there's another team that's a win away as well. Mark, I cannot say thanks enough. We appreciate when you make a trip to this ballpark, you and the other members here of the WCBL. Thanks for making time to watch a Gulls game. We made it a good one for you.
Oh, yeah, well, you certainly did, and the playoffs have been great. I've been a busy human. I've been to Lethbridge, Medicine Hat, Okotoks, and Sylvan, 4 games in 5 nights, and it will continue for another week or so yet, and it is great when you get games like this tonight. The entire playoffs, there's been so many great games. You could have played Lethbridge tonight. That one went 13 innings. You ended up with the Dogs, which is a great rivalry for these two teams, the top 2 teams in the West this season, so should be a heck of a series.
Well, I have it under good authority. There's a new campsite right here in Sylvan Lake and right next to the ballpark. And if it were up to me, I'd invite you to stay for a week and a half because we're hoping to make it to the finals. This is Mark Stiles from the WCBL. Thanks for joining us.
A pleasure. Thanks for having me, and I love what you're doing, promoting this league. Doing this show on Facebook tonight is magnificent, and it's anytime we can grow our sport with things like you're doing tonight, we're happy to support.
We really appreciate it. Mark Stiles with the Western Canadian Baseball League bore witness to a home run derby. Your Sylvan Lake Gulls score all of their runs, save for some RBIs on the last one. This is Cooper's big shot off the scoreboard. And then the stage was set for a nervous ending. You could feel the nerves as the fans got their signs ready. Ty Boudreau comes in to close the show. Lots of energy, and then that. The shot heard round Central Alberta. It takes us to Okotoks on a Monday night. It'll be game 2 where the Gulls have a chance to do what they've never done before, and that's make the Western Canadian Baseball League final. We'll see you for it on Tuesday night.